Hello everyone and welcome back to yet another War of the Worlds video. So last time out we sort of introduced the game to the channel, went over the basics, and yeah, if you haven't seen that video I definitely recommend checking it out as it will give you the introduction that you really need to the War of the Worlds game. However, just in case you did miss Wednesday's video, the basic premise of the game is you're chucked into a horror, survival, War of the Worlds scenario, unsurprisingly, and have to survive a full week of the invasion. And of course, these settings can be changed to make the invasion longer, more aggressive, less aggressive. I presume shorter if you're looking for that shorter but more difficult experience. So anyways, I'm going off on a bit of a tangent, but more to the point of the video, the other day I was talking to the developer, who's also known as Raf, and I was just talking about stuff I'd like to see in the game, and that inspired me to make this video. Because we all know just how much potential this game has, and when you think about it, because it's made by a solo developer, if we keep throwing our ideas at him, it will just get better and better. Which is of course assuming that your ideas are implemented, but however, if you've read the title then you'll know that today we'll be covering 5 things that I want to see in Flip Switch Studios' War of the Worlds game. Now, as always, if you do go on to enjoy today's video, please do consider liking and subscribing. The last video did pretty well considering it was my first one on this game, so if we can try and hit another 25 likes, that would be awesome. If you aren't already subscribed, please do consider it. I have loads more awesome War of the Worlds content coming out over the next few weeks. But on that note, I hope you enjoyed the video, and let's get into it. So, one of my biggest questions for Raf was really how the mobility is going to work in the War of the Worlds game. Because we know so far we've got cars, tanks, military vehicles, however stuff like helicopters and boats and bikes, that's not really been mentioned. I did ask him about helicopters and they are in the game as evident through gameplay, however currently they're not playable by the characters. Which was a bit of a disappointment to me, but I'm still excited nonetheless to take down some tripods with tanks and APCs and other military vehicles. And of course, because this game is consistently in development, it still means that one day we might potentially get the option to fly about and attack helicopters and rain absolute hell on the tripods. And on that note, my first idea for the War of the Worlds game is to implement bikes. And no, not motorcycles, simply BMX bikes, mountain bikes, just generally bicycles. I don't at all mean to sound boring, and I definitely do sound boring by wanting bicycles, but if you think about it, driving about in a car is just going to draw all the attention to you. It's loud but simultaneously fast, and this is where bikes would be useful. So they don't make too much noise because they're bicycles, they're, generally speaking going to be quite easy to fix if there is a mechanic that means you need new tyres or stuff like that for them, and yeah. It offers a way to traverse both efficiently and quietly across the map without alerting the tripods. However, this could quite easily make it almost meta in a sense, as you can traverse quickly, efficiently, and again quietly. So my way of sort of stopping this from becoming, as I say, overpowered is to introduce the stamina bar. So generally speaking, in game our characters aren't going to be pro Tour de France cyclists, and rather will just be your average day-to-day Joe, meaning that eventually they're going to need to stop and rest because frankly you're not going to be able to ride a bike forever. And this is the first big disadvantage of the bicycles, and that's that simply once you run out of stamina, you're donezo for a few minutes and have to hold out until you can continue moving. Which isn't too great if you run out of stamina in a giant open field, and it's not like you can run off either because obviously you don't have stamina. And I just feel this would be a fun thing to implement, as you can still move about quietly, quickly, without alerting the tripods, and I feel that's going to be a big advantage but simultaneously a disadvantage with the stamina bar, because while you can move around quickly and all the other reasons, it's just not going to be great if you run out of stam quickly and just stop, because that makes you an easy target for our Martian friends. Next up though, it's more of a sort of gameplay change of sorts, or more of a visual aid, because currently when the tripods walk about, while they do in a certain sense leave a path of destruction of sorts, I feel it'd be quite cool if there was like footprints from when they've been walking, so that way if there's been tripods in that area, and it would again just help you, actually survive, because Raf has said several times that he's struggling to get past day 1, and considering he's the developer, I think that this game is a bit difficult. I understand that the premise of the game is frankly to be difficult, but I feel there's a fine line between hard and extremely hard, and this game sort of falls into the middle. Like, I want a challenge, don't get me wrong, but I feel it would be such a big advantage to know where the tripods have been and where they haven't been. That way it's easier to know if you're safe or not, and I'm sure there's a big fiery path of destruction or just generally destruction that will be able to, you know, allow you to recognize whether or not tripods have been there. But again, if they had footprints, then it would just make it a lot easier. I understand that there's going to be tripod horns and red weed, but I feel again like this would just be that small advantage, because really in a game like this it's the small things that make all the difference. And visual aids are going to be absolutely huge for the first few days of the invasion, as you know, weapons are frankly useless and taking out the tripods is basically an impossible task. So, you know, if there was these trails, it would just make it a lot easier to know where I should go and where I should probably stay away from. So, on the topic of visual aid and gameplay, in the recent video or development update, we saw that we will actually be able to be sucked up by the tripods when we're stuck in the cages to be killed. Now, we know that this is still something in development, so currently there's no gameplay for it. However, I thought it'd be quite interesting if we actually get to see ourselves getting killed and, yeah, just basically get an inside view of the tripods. I know we've never seen the insides of Spielberg's tripods, however I feel it would just be quite interesting to, even if it was just a little cutscene, to sort of get that more, not so much realistic as opposed to like surreal experience and, you know, the realization that, oh no, I'm dead, I've got to start again, rather than just like a dead loading screen. Make it a more cinematic experience. I think that's the word I'm looking for. Now, for my penultimate idea, this one's actually quite interesting as well, as it's actually a way to defeat the tripods. Now, we know that not the tripods, but actually the aliens, at certain points will be getting out of the tripods to explore Earth, and I figured that this is quite a good opportunity to almost bait them out to stop them from being able to use the tripod. This idea is definitely a bit of a stretch, because even when the aliens come down, there still could be an alien piloting. I don't really know how Raf's going to approach it, but per se, the aliens have come out to come and explore the territory. There's no one there to pilot the tripod in this instance, so if you manage to kill off all the aliens, then in theory that tripod's immobile and you've just taken one down. Now, I know that this is definitely a bit of a stretch, and yeah, it's probably not going to be the case. However, I just feel it'd be quite cool to have other ways to take out tripods than just shooting them, even though it is absolutely epic. And finally, my fifth idea comes in the form of actually quite a popular one in the community, and that's barricades. I can imagine that barricades would be utterly useless if you just shove it on your window, because I mean, the tripods and the appendages can still just burst through. However, I feel that it would create a false sense of security that's just reassuring. It makes you feel hidden, and that way almost as if the tripods aren't still going to check out the house even if you're there, or presumably not there. So even though this mechanic would be utterly useless and probably a waste of time, I feel that the ideology behind barricading a house makes you literally no safer than you were anyway. I feel that's actually quite a terrifying feeling, knowing that the tripods can still burst through even if you barricade every window and every door. However, that does just about wrap up today's War of the Worlds video. If you have enjoyed, please do consider liking and subscribing. We're really trying to hit 2k. If Kit can do it, I'm sure I can too. Let's also try and hit 25 likes, as you know, this is new to my channel, and would just be cool to see if you lot like it. And let me know down in the comments some features you want to see in the War of the Worlds game, as I'm sure Raf will end up watching this video, and who knows, your idea might even get implemented into the game. But on that note, thanks for watching. I dearly hope you've enjoyed, and I do hope to catch you in the next one.